Rice Fame Group supports the legacies of HBCUs. Hello, this is Lacey L. Rice Jr. of Rice Fame Group, welcoming you to Season 4 of Chat with HBCU Champions, featuring today's guests, Winston-Salem State University head track and field coach, Antonio Wells. His women's outdoor track and field team won the 2025 CIAA Championship. So first of all, congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
And welcome to the show. First time that we've had you here, so we're very happy for you, and we know that's quite a big achievement.
Yes, sir. I'm thankful that you invited me on. When our sports information director presented it, I was like, I know that name, and I'll tell you how I know that name and as we talk, but I'm thankful. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, sir. And so, you have some powerhouses there in that conference.
Mm-hmm.
For
sure.
And that's why this is a heck of an achievement, because there's certain programs that have dominated, once before, Coach George Williams and his program out there at St. Aug had a stranglehold.
Oh, yes.
And then now more recently, there are other programs that have done pretty well. So cracking that ceiling, that is great. That is great. And I know, talking to those coaches too, they are proud of the diversity of the conference and the programs coming together and doing a lot of great things throughout the season.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the conference it's changed quite a bit. And like we as a whole, just talking with all the other track coaches, like we are proud to see that we are seeing like our national presence a lot more, especially since COVID. And just trying to push the conference in that direction. Like, of course, Coach Williams did historical things with St. Aug, and like we just know what this conference can bring to the NCAA Division II and what it can bring to that national level. So we all of us are proud of where the conference is going with our performances.
Okay. Well, Coach, we definitely want to know more about you. So please tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us about your athletic career, your coaching career, and let us know where you came from.
Okay. Well, to start off, I mean, I'm from a small place in Georgia, Dublin, Georgia. I ran track for most of high school. I didn't start out as a freshman. I wasn't as young as a lot of the people I recruit. But I went to Fort Valley State University, graduated with my bachelor's in biology. That is where my true love and interest in track and field like really cultivated and grew. My coaches there, like I had an experience with just switching of coaches almost every year while I was at Fort Valley State. As I came in, it was Tyree Price. He's coaching on at Power 4 schools now, who gave the reins over to Coach Marlo Mincy, who's working in athletic administration in Georgia now, and who next gave over the reins to Coach Elikisha O'Kelly, and she's the one that really pulled me into coaching. So in my last semester at Fort Valley State, I was done with competing, and like she saw my interest in the sport and just the dynamics of what we needed as a staff at Fort Valley State, and like she really took me under her wing. Um, Made sure that I understood a lot of the things that I had to do as a coach at the collegiate level. She made sure I was face first, up front, like really learning what it took to be a collegiate coach at that time, and that was in 2010. So um, as I stayed there for another year and a half, 2 years at Fort Valley, coaching, assistant coach to Coach O'Kelly, and I took a little break from track. Well, not really, but I ended up moving to Atlanta, working a job. I'm not even going to go into that, but I was working just in Atlanta, not doing anything with track and field, and um, I was living close to Clayton State University. Um, I was working out one day and I saw the Clayton State track team out there working out, and I introduced myself, Coach Me, Coach Clive. I was just around it, and Coach Clive he took it upon himself to ask me to come just work with him and help him out with jumps, and I ended up being a volunteer coach during that little break that I was taking from track and field. But after another year and a half of that, Coach Fatima Shabazz at Kentucky State, like she reached out to me with the opportunity to come up there with her and Coach Vaughn Smith, and like just gave me the opportunity to really make this a career, to really leave where I'm from and really get into coaching at this level. So August of 2014, I was at Kentucky State University as an assistant coach, a grad assistant at the time, and my time there, I'd say, shaped a lot of my individual thoughts and personal just perspective when it came to coaching events and really laying out what we needed for track teams or for programs at the time, because Kentucky State was a very unique experience. Um, I love my time at Kentucky State because of the people. Like, if you know anything about the state of Kentucky, like you would always ask, like, how is this the capital in Frankfort, Kentucky, compared to Louisville or Lexington? But my time at Kentucky State was truly eye opening, seeing how small the circle is as far as track and field goes. Um, I I just lived the life of track and field. I mean, it wasn't too much else I could do in Frankfort, Kentucky. Like I said, the people made it enjoyable for me. Uh, I cherish those people to this day. We still talk. But I was at Kentucky State coaching middle distance, helping out with sprints, and I was coaching jumps at the time. Um, that first year, it was Coach Smith, and after that first year, Coach Smith and Kentucky State they parted ways, and they brought in Tori Edwards, Olympian Tori Edwards, and she, right along with everybody else, just took us under her wings. Made it an enjoyable experience as we pushed into the next year that we were there, and it was a lot of fun. I will say that, and I got the opportunity to go to another school in 2016. Um, I taught with Coach Edwards, taught with Coach Shabazz, and like we all agree like it was time to keep it rolling. Like when the opportunity comes, like especially for a full-time position in track and field, and like I I didn't realize the history behind the school that I was going to at the time, but as I worked at this school, I quickly learned like the rich track and field history that was cultivated by the head coach that's there now. But I got the opportunity to go to Morgan State University as full time assistant, working with distance, helping out with jumps, and that started in September of 2016. Uh, uh, so it was a big change for me, going from country parts of Georgia, Kentucky, a lot slower pace, to Baltimore. Uh, that was probably the toughest transition for me. Like I'm used to like a slower speed, and understanding the dynamics of Division 1 track and field, Division 1 schools as a whole. Like it was a complete just overhaul of my knowledge of coaching in a college setting. So as I got to Morgan State University, it was a big adjustment period. So realizing where I was at, realizing the history behind it, Coach Neville Hodge, great athlete, long-time coach. He's pretty much laid the foundation of a lot of the track and field structure that's at that school, from the facilities to just how they operate. He was pivotal in just Morgan State as a whole when it came to track and field. Like he competed for Morgan State, Olympian for his country,
Mhm.
and just deeply rooted in the institution. And that showed me how long time coaches like they operate when it came to administration, came to just their connections across campus, and trying to get alumni to come back, be supportive. It's a lot easier when you are a longer standing coach. Um, like athletes want to come back and talk it up with their old coach. So it's a lot easier when you've been there for a while to have that alumni support. And it was it was eye opening. I'm not gonna sit here and say it was all fun. Um, Division 1 is much more of a business than it is cultivating the whole athlete at Division 2. That was probably my toughest challenge there when it came to recruiting and like really just talking numbers and track and field with a lot of these student athletes. Like you are coming here for that. Like this is the line of like why you're here. Like yes, you're going to get your degree. It's really looking at only your degree and track and field. So that was an adjustment for me. Just knowing the type of person I am, I feel like I work well with everyone. I feel like I have that characteristic of trying to get it done no matter the situation. And in that Division 1 setting, like it's a lot more business minded. Like this is how it needs to go.
Mhm.
No changing from that path. Um, but 2 years at Morgan State, um, working with some great athletes, working at that great institution. Morgan State was a wonderful institution to work for. I enjoyed the campus life. A lot of people won't realize how nice of a campus Morgan is, where it's set in Baltimore. Like it's something to explore if you get the chance. But from what year was that? Yeah, so summer of 2018, I
Mm-hmm.
was let go at Morgan State. He decided to go a different direction. At that point in time, I was like, I don't know if this coaching thing is for me. Like I said, it was a different feel at that level. That time in my life, it was it was challenging to really keep going and finding the motivation to just keep doing what I was doing. But in that time frame of me trying to decide what I'm doing next, I got a phone call from a longtime track friend, K. Marie Jones.
Mm-hmm.
She was calling, asking me some questions about distance, middle distance, and recruiting. And I was like, okay, what's up? But turns out that she got the head job here at Winston-Salem State. And she was
Mm-hmm.
like, Wells, all right, that was your interview. Now let's let's look at what we have to do moving forward. So I got the opportunity to come here to WSSU fall of 2018 as an assistant coach to K. Marie Jones, and like it was a revitalization, I'd say, in what I found college coaching to be, like what I experienced as a student athlete at a Division II school. Just the dynamics of the city, the dynamics of WSSU, like it felt like home almost instantly. And like with Coach Jones bringing me in, like it added a level of trust too. We were both younger coaches,
Mm-hmm.
and it just added to the dynamic of what we were trying to do. Like we wanted to win. We know some of the powerhouses that we were up against, and I'm not necessarily even talking about the school as the powerhouse. Like these coaches as powerhouses. Like we have George Williams, we have Inez Turner. Like understanding the shoes that we were like trying to fill competing against these coaches at the time. And if you know K. Marie Jones, like you know that she's a very forward and headstrong person, and like that's something that I needed
Mm-hmm.
as a very laid back, chill type person to like really see some of the decisions that you have to make,
Mm-hmm.
some of the opportunities that you have to really see your way into versus just kind of waiting and sitting and holding on for it. But under her leadership, like we created a pretty tough team
Mm-hmm.
that was not really looked at as we went to outdoor. That was 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Like we people were looking at us like, how did y'all make that happen? And it came down to the student athletes like really believing and stepping up and capitalizing off of mistakes, capitalizing off of the weather. Like they competed at that time and did
Mm-hmm.
what they needed to. So for us to step in, and I want to say that was Coach Jones' first year as head coach. Uh, for us to do that within that time frame, it just showed the pedigree of the student athletes here, the pedigree of the school, the totality of what we are able to accomplish, knowing that we are running up against these tough schools and competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but fast forward through that, COVID. COVID was an experience. Like I'm sure everybody in the nation like felt some type of pause when it came to COVID. Um, like going through 20, so starting 2019 season
Mm-hmm.
and stopping in 2020, like it was a lot of I don't know what we're about to do type feelings going around, floating around, and like we navigated uh, through that, but I want to say it was 2021, fall 2021. Coach Jones got the opportunity to go be assistant coach, associate head coach, I think, at Georgetown, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a period that I was interim head coach here. And finally, December 2021, um, AD Thomas, she gave me the opportunity to lead this program as head men's and women's cross country, women's track and field coach. And
Mm-hmm.
like we've just been rolling since, man. So that's my journey as my athletic career goes. I feel like I was just kind of rambling on for a little bit.
No, you could, because we have a lot of acquaintances,
Mm-hmm.
and we're both alumni of Kentucky State University. With being there for your graduate, and I was there for undergrad a long
I,
time ago.
I have to say that I didn't finish grad school there. I didn't. I started, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm. You're still an alum, as long as you did a semester. And we definitely know a lot of the same people,
So,
whether it's your athletic director, and some of the other people who you mentioned who you coach
yeah.
with, and with Coach Edwards and Coach Shabazz, and
Mm-hmm.
so and I'm definitely familiar with a lot of the history because you know uh, Kentucky State had a long history before, um, with Coach King, especially when Coach King Gibson
Yes, sir.
was there, and he was. I know he was still alive when you were at Kentucky State.
Yep. I
And,
met him at one of the coaches convention that
mhm.
first year that I was there. Like great, chill, spoken man. Like he showed his face quite often for us.
Mm-hmm. And you need that. I mean, you have people like him, a Hall of Famer, who's still around in Frankfurt, still around, the program, and actually, I believe the time you were there, he was probably coaching high school
Yep,
in
I believe
Shelby
so.
County, and but he's also won, uh, you know, not only as a coach but also as an official. Right? You know, this gentleman reached the top pinnacle of officiating, um, master technical,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they're not that many. They're not that many
No?
technicals. so,
Yeah.
so just I know just being around him, and you had, like you said, Coach Edwards, an Olympian, world champion, and actually, because of her, I was able to help a young man transfer
Mm-hmm.
to Kentucky State, and under her tutelage, I mean, he was an All American on the NAIA level
Mm-hmm.
when he transferred to Kentucky State, and then I know his times got even better at Kentucky State. So, that, like I said, uh, you've rubbed shoulders with a lot of great people, and then of course, your current AD, she used to be the athletic director at Kentucky State.
Right.
So, like I said, there's a lot of familiarity there, and a lot of great people you've come in contact with, and it's great to hear that story that you gave. Actually, starting from a small town, and competing, D2, coaching D2 and D1, which are different,
Yeah.
and I guarantee people don't realize the differences. And being myself coaching every level from middle school up through the collegiate ranks.
Mm-hmm.
I think actually, I never coached D2 and I did not coach NAIA. I was an assistant commissioner for NAIA who had track and field under me, but I did coach D1 and D3. So I do know
It's
there are
different.
differences.
Like it's really different.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, that brings you to this place now.
Yes,
And,
sir.
in pretty much a short period of time, you know, you've been able to get your name on that championship banner for the conference history.
Yep.
And people don't, I guarantee you, people probably do not realize of all these coaches we have in the United States who've been head coach, how many have actually been conference champions?
Yep.
You know, it's a small, it's a relatively small group. It's a
Like, 'cause,
relatively small group.
like it's it. I'm speaking from sense of the CIAA and just knowing the history behind this conference.
Mm-hmm.
Like Coach Williams, I came at the tail end of his career at St. Aug, so I didn't have to fight him like a lot of these other coaches had to.
Mm-hmm.
And like seeing Coach Turner, like in her just glory right now, like she's been amazing at cultivating these teams. Like she did it here at WSSU, and just knowing that she's always going to be a factor as a coach. And to speak on some of these newer coaches in the conference, Frank Highland, he's coming from the SIAC at Benedict, like where he was like really knocking people left and right. Uh, Coach Watts, he's at Claflin. He's made great moves with that program. Like it's a lot of changing happening in the CIAA. The history of each school is constantly growing and changing, and like like I said, we're glad that it's coming back to the competitive nature that it was pre-COVID, and like hey, every man is out to win and they're out to go get it. So like we're steadily fighting for better for the conference.
Right. Well, Coach, tell us about some of your student athletes, because I mean, as good as you know a coach that you are, and um, you've been able to get them to this spot, they actually have to go out there and perform. So,
Right.
tell us about some of your student athletes.
All right. So just looking at this past year and how that group came together, like looking at the seniors that I had from this past year, like they played a major role in a team culture uh role. Like with every year I'm looking to recruit better, better, better. And like they were that recruiting class that I was like looking at, all right, this is the step above where we need to be. And from that year, the next year, the following year, like they set the standard for this team that just hit outdoors champs. But this past year, our team was pretty sophomore heavy. Um, I had a couple of transfers and a couple of true sophomores, but our sophomore class from this past year, they're going to their junior year. Like they were pretty strong across the board, but some key people, our national qualifiers, All Americans, Charnessa Reed, number 4 in the nation in the 100-meter hurdles. She finished number 9 in the 60 hurdles for the nation. Brianna Benloss, she finished number 9 in the nation in the 100. So just the pedigree of these young ladies, and it's filled in with other national caliber ladies. Like with all the changes that are happening at Division One, all of
Mm-hmm.
these insane times, insane marks that you're seeing at Division One,
Mm-hmm.
it's trickling down. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's taking that much more just to make it to that national level. Because just looking at the change in the time it took to make it in the 400 from 2024 to 2025 was insane. And I have a very strong 400 group. I want to say number two, number three, number five, and number six. Like those were the ranked times in our conference, like that we had on our team for the 400 group. And three of those young ladies are coming back. Um, we've done some things to kind of cover some spaces that we were a little bit weak in. We have a strong throwing class coming in this year. And I want to say we have a very well-rounded team. Looking at the seniors this year, looking at the juniors this year, like I'm excited to see what they pull together, especially with these freshmen coming in and these transfers I do have it coming in. Like I'm excited to see the school year because I know everybody else is reloading. Like the target is on our back, and just like I was speaking with a friend yesterday, like it's our job to keep that target on our back. So it's work to be done, and like it's no room to be complacent, be content. And I tell these young ladies all the time, they want what you have right now. So let's keep it up. But great group of young ladies as a whole. Like this past year, it was a fun experience.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tough experience in the same sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like our assistant coaches, Coach Shauna Caballas, she's a part-time throws coach, and our recently hired, like she started with us in April, Paula Salmon. So from fall 2024 through March 2025, like it was really me handling everything on the track.
Oh,
And like it was tough. So just looking at where we were able to come to this past school year, because even looking at indoor, like we lost by 15 points. Uh, I personally feel like we had 20 points left on the table. So it's it was a lot of things that were going on, but nevertheless, I'm truly grateful and proud of my team and my staff.
right. It that is tough, being a head coach and you being the only full time person on staff. Because once again, you do have to deal with all the excuse me, administrative uh, details. You have to deal with your student athletes around the clock. And normally you would share some of that load.
Mm-hmm.
you have you have to deal with like I said, just so many different things. So from that aspect, especially for you to be able to win the conference championship is truly amazing. And we're glad that you uh, do have help coming in.
No, I have help now. Like I said, Coach Paula, she started in April, so she
Mm-hmm.
was there for outdoor.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Shauna, like she's a full time anesthesiologist, so her time is limited, but she makes it work for our throwers. And
Mm-hmm.
like for me to ask anything beyond that, like she's doing it out of the greatness of our heart, which is again, I'm truly grateful. But yes, like this year, I'm looking forward to it, seeing how we do have our staff in place and how we can really spread this thing out a lot more to get what we need.
Right. And you also mentioned something about recruiting, and having transfers and having true sophomores and things like that. And that's another aspect I don't think people really get, especially when it comes to Division II, because I don't know if it's still the same. I know at one point Division II's motto included talk about not offering full scholarships, and so when you're a student athlete being recruited, you want to know how your school's going to be paid for.
Right.
You want me to come up there, am I going to have to come out of pocket and all these other things? And then I'm as a coach, as a former coach, I'm pretty sure you ran into the same thing, even though you're D2, that I ran into at D3, because D3 we didn't give scholarships. You had to come there. If you wanted any money, it had to be academic money. And I would recruit student athletes, and at that particular, when I was brought in, we did not have a team filled out. We had some pieces there. I was over the sprints group, and it was my job to try to recruit kids to come in to compete with us. Also, we were transitioning from NAIA to D3. So we were still kind of in a probationary period. But the head coach wanted us to be competitive on a national basis day one of becoming full member. So that's how I was recruiting. I was recruiting the top athletes in the country. I've seen some of them watching the NCAA D1 championships. I've seen some of them competing. And so, and it was real funny. The kids who were the top kids in the country and their coaches, I never had a problem with any of them. I never heard any of them tell me anything about, well, I'm looking for a D1 scholarship or anything like that. The ones who told me that were kids from Kentucky who were not signed. Their times, we talking about kids running 11 seconds in 100. And they're telling me that oh, well, I'm going to walk on. And they're talking about going to the biggest school in the state. And, first thing I would always ask, did you talk to coach? Because I know your coach. I know the coach. And, you run 11:01 in the 100. And so one of the things, whenever I would go to clinics, whenever I was a clinician, primarily on the high school level, but because of my experiences as a D1 coach, especially at that particular time, was it called Power 5? No, we weren't called Power 5 at that time, but yeah, I had coached one year at one of the major colleges. I mean, one of the major universities. And so I brought that experience to these clinics. And what I would always tell coaches, don't pump your kid's head full of going D1, because generally you can be fast at any level. If you have talent, you're gonna clock times at any level, and you clock those times, somebody's gonna find you. So, like I said, Carmelita Jeter, prime example, D2.
Yep.
World champion.
Like, with this changing landscape, like, recruiting is completely different. Because I mean, it was different from the time like I began coaching, from the time that I was an athlete. It was different from like 5 years ago, like this recruiting isn't happening the same, like compared to right now at all. So
Mm-hmm.
like it's a ever changing thing, and like to really recruit to where you are, where I'm at, like
Mm-hmm.
I look to learn as much as I possibly can about the student athlete that I am recruiting, uh,
Mm-hmm.
because in this day and age, with how easy it is for somebody to leave, I don't want anybody here if they are second guessing this is the institution that they want to be at.
Mm-hmm.
Like I recruit to the school. Like I'm not gonna be that person like I did this, I did that to recruit somebody in, because the bottom line is like you're coming to this institution for a student athlete experience at Winston-Salem State University. This is
Mm-hmm.
what I do to help you enhance that student athlete experience, but this is what WSSU provides. This is what WSSU can like really give you as a student
Mm-hmm.
and an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 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 blessed to be at an institution that like they really do a lot to give these students, not just student athletes, an experience of family, an experience of like this is what you need to go into the workforce, like
Mm-hmm.
because you're coming here to better yourself in order to get a better job going out, get a better career going out. And they do quite a bit to make sure that you're taken care of from start to finish here. So um, everything when it comes to recruiting, I want them to know that this is where they want to be.
Right.
Like it's a lot of things that can change in a matter of 3 4 years, and like I want you to feel completely sold on the institution that you are coming to.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to recruiting those kids that's like, yeah, I want to go D1,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna really lay out what we can offer you. Um, I'm gonna ask that you challenge these other schools that you are looking at to see if they can offer these same things. And like we're gonna leave it at that. Like I'm not going to sell any false hope on things that I can't provide. Like I want you to come somewhere that you are truly ecstatic about wearing those colors, wearing those letters across your chest.
Mm-hmm.
So I say we have a good time when it comes to WSSU with recruiting,
Mm-hmm.
because again the institution is great,
Mm-hmm.
and like we do our best to make sure like they have a great student athlete experience. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and what I do within the program, like it falls within those guidelines of WSSU. So uh, I recruit those that want to be at WSSU.
Right. And your actually your athletic director, I'm pretty sure when she came in that was probably part of her goal was to make sure that the atmosphere was conducive for the student athlete, because
Right.
before she came to Kentucky State she was at Kansas State. I believe it was
Mm-hmm.
Kansas. If it wasn't Kansas State, it was Kansas. And then when she got the job at Kentucky State, I think she was, if I'm not mistaken, I think she was the first woman to transition from D1 to HBCU.
Got you.
And if she wasn't the first, she was the second. And before that, I think there were like two men who did it.
Mm,
And I know she brought to Kentucky State a lot of that D1 mentality, how she had everything set up, how she ran everything. And so, you can see a definite upgrade from previous administrations.
right.
And then she gets a job over at Winston-Salem. And, so I'm pretty sure she took that with her when she became a Ram. And so, uh, I know she was an asset to you guys, uh,
Yes.
coming in. But since you also mentioned it, tell us a bit about Winston-Salem State University. What what are some of the major programs there? What's it like, being in that area?
So Winston-Salem State, a smaller institution. Like our student population is roughly 45 to 5,000, 4,500 to 5,000. And our main um, major, like what people really look at Winston for, is nursing. We are the number one nursing program in the state of North Carolina. I'm pretty sure we are nationally ranked. So it's a big draw for our nursing program here. We also have a pretty solid doctorate of physical therapy program as well. So nursing, occupational therapy, physical therapy, like those are some of the big sellers of the institution from the academic space.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as far as WSSU goes with student life and what they do to prepare their students to go beyond WSSU, like
Mm-hmm.
the job fairs, the internships that they cultivate and like really push for our students to have. I can't even say just student athletes, but for our students to have, um,
Mm-hmm.
and just the resources around them to make sure that they succeed in the classroom as they are transitioning from high school coming into WSSU. Like they have a team of people that make sure that you are moving along as you need to be as a student. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the city of Winston-Salem, I enjoy it. It's not as big as many others, but looking at the city itself, I feel like it's a lot of opportunity to like really love the institution that you're at. Like we have Wake Forest University here, we have Carolina University, which is a smaller. I'm not even sure if they NAI, but uh, North Carolina School of the Arts for Sci Tech. Like it's, I want to say like five schools of higher education here in the city. So it brings a diverse population. We're close to Greensboro if Winston isn't as fast as you want it to be. And even if Greensboro isn't as fast as you want it to be, we're still an hour 15, hour and a half away from Raleigh and Charlotte. So it's I'd say it's a pretty centralized location for a place to grow as a person. Like I said, I've enjoyed my time here. Looking at how long I have been here, this is the longest I've been somewhere outside of where I'm from, and
Mm-hmm.
like it's been a amazing journey.
Okay. Yeah, because and I don't know how many people know that Winston-Salem State University is a part of the University of North Carolina system,
Mm-hmm.
and that system is one of the top. I mean, that's pretty much like, well, pretty much around Ivy League level when you think about it, and then to be number one in nursing
Mm-hmm.
in the state. Oh wow. That says a lot about the institution and the program itself, because you are competing against, University of North Carolina, North
Mm-hmm.
Carolina State, Duke, and others. And so, that's amazing. And and so, I know I would highly suggest someone who's looking to go into nursing to go to a Winston-Salem State University because of that ranking.
Yep.
So, kudos to the institution for that. And then, it's funny when I was thinking about it. So, you've coached in Frankfort, Kentucky, the
Mm-hmm.
smallest capital in the United States. You coached in Baltimore, one of our major cities. And
Mm-hmm.
now you're in Winston, you're in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And so you got a taste of quite a few different
Yeah,
areas.
yeah. Like I said, I'm from a country area in Georgia. Went
Hmm.
to school in Fort Valley, Georgia, home of the best peaches in the world. Um, like I I learned a lot from a lot of the different places that I've stayed,
Hmm.
and it's really just about like creating the environment that you want,
Hmm.
regardless of what's around you. That's something that I make sure I tell my student athletes. Like, it's a lot for you to explore in downtown Winston, in Greensboro. Like, you guys really have to take advantage of all of this access that you have through social media, through the internet, and like really see what's here for you. Um, like, don't let these bigger schools just take advantage of like a city like this. Like, I want to see where Winston-Salem, North Carolina, is truly painted red, and
Hmm.
like it takes our students getting out and really enjoying the city for what it is. So,
Hmm.
like, it's things to explore in this little area. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the questions I ask coaches, because it unfortunately has become near and dear to my heart, and I don't know how much of it you experience at other institutions, but the mental health aspect of
Hmm.
of especially being a student athlete, you know, excuse me, there has there have been so many unfortunate um, suicides that you hear of on the collegiate level, and most, at least for me, most of the ones I've heard of have been student athletes, whether they are, um, field playing athletes or cheerleaders. Um, there's been too many. One is too many. But then talking to some other student athletes, there've been a whole lot more who've attempted.
Hmm.
And so at Winston-Salem State, how do you deal with the mental health of your athletes?
Uh, so like I said, with WSSU as a institution, like they have a team of people around you to make sure that you succeed. I like to think that our student athletes have a more specialized team of people around them, including us as coaches, the administrative staff. I know that I push for my teams to know who is who in the administration. And like we do have counseling centers here on campus. So I I try my best to make sure that our student athletes know that it's okay to talk with people. Like, when you isolate yourself, that's when like you really feel down most of the time. Like, I've done it myself, where like I've isolated myself, and like thoughts just kind of run rampant when you are by yourself. And like, when you have a true team of people around you, and that's what like I truly want to have in my team. That's what I do have in my team, where if somebody sees that you're having a tough time, like they come in and like really give you that shoulder, give you that talk, give you that push. Like, they they know how to like really talk with each other, and they know that they can come to us and talk. And like, we try to have that open line of communication, because I mean, everything ain't, it's not gonna be all happy, all good, all the best, this, that, and the third. So, I mean, through your tough times, like, you're gonna have to sit down and talk with somebody. If it's not me, if it's not your teammate, it needs to be a counselor. Like, and you have these resources here for you. So,
Mhm, mhm. Well, that's a great thing because I do know of some institutions and programs that did not have those resources, and like I said, um, that's where some of these student athletes who either attempted or even completed the process, um, that's where I guess the breakdown and the failure was. I think several of them have corrected that now, and they do have that in place. But it's just amazing just to hear about this happening. It's always happened. It's always happened. But then, like I said, for me, when I hear about it, it's like such and such student athlete from this school, such and such student athlete from that school. It's like, okay, so I'm hearing more about them than I am the general population. And so, and I know there's a lot of pressure on them because you come to college or university as a student athlete to perform.
mhm.
You are there to perform. Your teammates back in high school, you might come from a program that had 50 people in that program, and maybe two of you made it out of that program to the next level.
Right.
So, yeah, that says a lot about you as a student athlete. But now you're at this place and they want you to develop. You're there as a student first. You there to try to get your degree first. But then you have this additional duty of going to practice, going on trips, and then
Mhm.
performing at a very high level. So yeah, there's a lot on a student athlete. But coaches like yourself, I'm pretty sure you were honest with the student athlete, the parent during recruiting. That's part of the life.
Oh yes. Like,
So
and that's part of why, like, my team has had success because they hold each other accountable when it comes to things that we have to do. So just looking at um just that team culture, like they have that. They can see that. So
mhm, mhm. So tell us a bit. You mentioned some of your past experience, some of the people who you dealt with. Who are your primary mentors?
so I talked with Tyree Price just about every other day, every week at some point. He's coaching at TCU right now as their jumps coach. Speak with Keisha Kelly. Like, she's working her law firm in Georgia. Um, yeah. Coach Frank Highland, like, I speak with him quite often. Like, he just got a position over at Fayetteville State. Like, he was the former head coach at Virginia State, and I want to
Okay.
say this happened in a matter of a week or so ago. Like, he announced that he was going over there. Um, who else? I speak with Marlon Mincy quite a bit too. Like, we talk about helping each other out as far as personnel goes. But those are the primary people I speak with in my world of track and field right
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. 'Cause I had no idea that Frank Highland had transitioned again.
now.
I remember
Yeah,
when he got the Virginia State job, I was shocked at that particular point.
yeah, like, it was a surprise. It was a big surprise. So I'm curious to see what they are cooking up at Fayetteville State. But yep, he's there now, and yeah, he's always been somebody that's took me under his wing, even as a student athlete, because I would always be competing with his boys, and he was always a great guy overall just to talk with. So yeah.
And so yeah, because he was one of the first people who we interviewed. When he was at Benedict.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we're definitely familiar with Frank, with Coach Highland, and we would definitely wish him well in his journey. But yeah, so as we prepare to close, this is the time that we give you to give shout outs to anyone you want to shout out.
I want to shout out my wife, Katie and Jones Wells. First off, I want to shout out to my team. They truly make this enjoyable for me. These young men and women with cross country, like they really make this love for track and field just truly grow. I want to shout out the entire athletic department here at WSSU. They make it fun for me too. I get the support that I need from my administrative staff, and like I hands down, from sports medicine to information director, like Eris, Jordan, like they make sure that the program is seen and heard. So I just want to give a shout out to all those people, and just look forward to the next year.
Okay. Well, with that said, Coach, we definitely want to thank you for stopping in and chatting with us. Definitely was an interesting journey that you gave us, and we definitely will take a lot of interest in your program. See how things develop.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully you'll be guests in the future. And we also want to thank you, our audience, for watching this program, watching coaches like Coach Wells, and becoming more familiar with what HBCUs have to offer. And we also ask that you like, share, and that you subscribe or follow our platform as we bring you more top level coaches from the HBCU ranks. So once again, thank you and have a blessed day.
Yeah. Now I'm talking about young shakes. Chicago to represent. Jesse James. And this is for my city.
Hey, I do it for my city. Dog, I don't plan on going down. If he think I'm going down, then he gone first round. For my city. Dog, I ain't never been a chump. And if he thinking I'm a chump, watch him get his head lumped. For my city. Dog, I don't plan on going down. If he think I'm going down, then he gone first round. For my city. Dog, I ain't never been a chump. And if he thinking I'm a chump, watch him get his head lumped. For my city. Cause I feel like I love her so much, like I owe her so much for supplying her touch. I will always respect her, I will never neglect her. Bet you hear her naming like every one of my records. No, I'm not stunting, ain't no future in your frontin', right? Gotta get this money, watch me get it all night. Planet flying top flight, higher than space stations. That's why I gotta grind, cause I need it and I hate waiting.